It's The Big Show with me, Alex Belfield, talking to my favourite people and some of the world's biggest stars, and then people that I've been trying to get on for years and years and years, and Lord Sugar said, no, I'm not wasting my time, but finally you've given in. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much.
Would you help me with this one? What do I call you, firstly? Lord Sugar?
You got it, that's right. It's not bad, not bad. I've done a few interviews with BBC over the last couple of days, and I've reported some of the other people to the compliance people for getting my name wrong.
What are they calling you then, sir?
Well, they still call me Sir Alan and all that stuff. It's quite. Look, I don't care what you call me. You can call me Alan as far as I'm concerned. It's just that I'm not Sir Alan anymore. It's gone, I'm afraid to say. It's actually, it is the correct title is Lord Sugar.
What a life you've had. I mean, I haven't seen the book because it's not out yet and I'm not meant to see it and all that, but I've read tons and tons of extracts and done a load of research on you. And you really are the American dream, but from England, aren't you, really? I mean, it started so modestly and it's ended up big time. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's that was recognised in the 80s by Margaret Thatcher, for example. I was the blue-eyed boy of the city then when I first floated my company in 1981, because, as you quite rightly say, I started from nothing, really, with £100 in the minivan. That is all true. And there's no reason on this God's earth why someone else can't do it in this day and age either.
Have you thought how you go from being just a humble kid living a normal life to being a multimillionaire? Because, I mean, your path is so extraordinary and your success is so massive. Do you think you were born to greatness, or is it just down to damn hard work?
Well, I don't know about born to greatness. You started quoting Shakespeare there, to be honest. I think the thing is that an entrepreneur, and as I've always said, is someone that it has something which is inbuilt inside them, yeah? You either are one or you're not, and it's not something that, with respect, you can be taught. It needs to be prized out of you. And I've always kind of used a comparison of, say, a concert pianist, for example. Now, if you lock me in a room for a year with a piano teacher, I guess at the end of the year I could come out and, you know, do you a quick rendition of Roll Out the Barrel, right? Yes. Would I ever be a great concert pianist in the Royal Albert Hall? Never in a million years, because that person has a talent, okay? And in the same way, an entrepreneur has a talent inbred inside them. And an 11-year-old person that's going to end up becoming a concert pianist, if you know what I mean, didn't suddenly leap out of bed one morning and start playing some piano concerto in the E minor, whatever. Someone spotted it and then coaxed them and taught him and trained him or her and made them the great person they are. And that's similar with an entrepreneur. You have to spot it. It has to be spotted, and you have to be encouraged to actually then exploit it more.
Your new autobiography is called What You See Is What You Get, and it seems to me that your dad has really created the person you are today, because he worked damn hard to make you the man you are today, really, didn't he?
Well, he worked very, very hard. Yeah, I mean, the family ethos was to work hard because there was no other way to get any money, and we never had any money. We lived in the council flats in Hackney, and that was it. I mean, nothing. You know, he'd done his best. My mum and dad did their best. They had 4 children, of which I was the youngest. They did their best. I think the driving thing for me was to make sure that I was not going to struggle like they had done over money. Money was not, you know, I was going to struggle. I was going to become self-sufficient.
What's your take on money isn't everything?
It definitely, it's not everything at all. But
it does help, doesn't
it? You know, get to a certain stage and you don't need any more. There are better, there are other things in life, but of course, you know, everybody needs some money. You need some money to, you know, put some food in your mouth, for example. And, you know, I sometimes admire some people, particularly some that I've employed over the years, who are brilliant people that could have applied their mind a little bit differently and become richer, who are content with their life. They wanted to earn their salary. They went to work, they came to work, they did their job, they've got their family life, they've got their hobbies, and they are content. But you know, they needed money, a certain amount of money, in order to keep their family going.
It's an interesting point you make. Why now do you keep on keeping on when you've got enough money? What drives you to get out of bed in the morning? Because it isn't to make another million, is it?
Well, because that's what we are. That's what we are. You know, you can ask the same of anybody. You know, of a football player. Why does he want to keep on playing? You know, I mean, he's got a problem, a football player, because physically he can't, because he gets to the age of 35 or 40, and it's physical restraints to stop him doing it. But if they could, you ask any one of them, they would love to be out on the football pitch playing. And it's just this, you know, to me, bringing out a new product is like scoring a goal. If you're, designing and engineering a new product and seeing it come to the market it's like scoring a goal, really. It's or winning a league, and and then afterwards, whether it sells or not is important, because it's an ego thing, whether it was a good idea, a good product. But really, the amount of money that it makes or doesn't becomes irrelevant. You're looking for the next. So it's just that drive that will never go away.
Is your greatest skill instinct, judging people and products instantly and deciding my heart's in that or my heart's not in it?
Well, I think it's one of my skills. I think it is. I guess it is one of my greatest skills. I'm not saying I'm the world's best expert on it. I don't have any exclusivity over judging people and having been a good judge of character or instinct, because a lot of the other business people in this country, men and women, have got that instinct. I mean, I don't have any exclusivity there, and some have even got it better than me, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's part and parcel of your makeup.
I want to talk about you as a child, because I know you struggled at secondary school. Antisemitism was a big problem for you for a while. Did that change you as a person? Did it make you a bit sceptical about people that they judge?
I think it's part of life's lessons. I think what I describe in my book is that an innocent child brought into the world and sent to a primary school where we, all loved each other as kids. Well, in the sense that it didn't matter who you were, whether you were an Asian, a black, Jewish, or whatever. You just get on and you played, and you was as naughty and as spiteful as you would normally be. There was no hint of racism at all, none whatsoever. So there you got an innocent child, if you like, but sent to school at 5 up to the age of 11, and suddenly at the age of 11, when you leave and you go to another school, and you suddenly start hearing people making racist chants about Jews or blacks. Have you never heard it in your life before? You've never ever heard it in your life. You can imagine how traumatized one is when suddenly you start. There's a reality of my God, what are they talking about? I remember going home and saying to my mum and dad, who kind of insulated me from it, didn't think it was necessary to coach me on what I was about to let myself in for, because we lived in in flats, and not all in our flats we had majority non-Jewish people. Never ever came across the problems at all, and so there you are. So it kind of hardens you up a little bit. I was traumatized as a youngster, but that lasted, a few weeks until I realized this is what the world's like. Unfortunately, there's ignorant people out there, and you watch some people that came from primary school with me, who were there, who were my best pals at primary school. And here's a horrible thing. Innocent people like me and them, best pals, used to sit together at primary school, get to secondary school, because we both went on to the same secondary school, and they changed and they blew me out because they were poisoned by the minds of others. Unbelievable.
How are you with people now and trusting them? Because obviously you run a business and you've got to have people within it that you trust with your money. Are you guarded as a person?
No, I think that experience, over the years has aided me in assessing professional people. And in companies you have systems and things. You don't trust all your money to one individual. You have systems in companies where there is a kind of a structure as to how money or expenditure is made. So I think that is kind of really not an issue there. And then it's just experience as to whether you and also experience of having people working with you for a while and giving new people an opportunity to settle in, and then you can kind of get an understanding of their nature and their culture, and that's when to entrust in them a little bit more.
In terms of your starting off as a businessman, I mean, it was quite humble. I mean, you've done a million jobs over the years. What is the deal you're most proud of? Because it doesn't have to necessarily be for 10 million, does it?
Exactly. No, you're quite right. I mean, I think that, there's kind of milestones in your life, isn't there, really? And, I guess if you go back and you follow me through the book there and you see that I had 2 or 3 jobs in the electronics business and then ventured out very boldly, to go on my own. Yeah. And I guess, I still see it today, that very, very first sale that I made, most probably for about £4 or something like that, or £6 for 6 car aerials to Mr. P.W. Thaxton in East India Dock Road. That was the first trade sale I made as Amstrad to a trade customer. And that was, and then, go and move on, I don't know, 20 years from there, to 1987, say, and I'm selling £100 million of goods to Dixon's. You know what I mean? So, is that a great achievement? Of course it was. Maybe the first time I brought a computer out, and when I saw it, you develop the computer, you think it's good, it's good, your people tell you it's good, we're all enthusiastic about it, but who makes the decision as whether it's good or not? It's the public. And so when you stick it in the shops, and then bingo, suddenly they start calling you up and say, send some more of this stuff down here, then you've made it, you've hit it. So there's lots of those kinds of moments, but they don't necessarily have to, you quite rightly said, doesn't have to be the biggest deal that you've done. Yeah.
And what about being a star now, Lord Sugar? Because of course everybody knows you because of The Apprentice. Almost your business life is irrelevant. We like you for the man who says you're fired. Do you see that as a compliment that we know you for that, or do you wish we knew more about your business dealings?
Well, I mean, the thing is, the book gives the opportunity of knowing more about me. I mean, I'm realistic. Okay. I was known in the city in the 80s as this rags to riches story, Margaret Thatcher's kind of dream, really, of what she wanted, and then of course I got involved in football and I was known there. So this kind of fame, or whatever word you want to call it, is not exactly new to me, although, to be perfectly blunt, it is big. Of course, it's much bigger, and I can understand why the general public at large, if you stopped them in the street, said, Alan Sugar, they sold The Apprentice, right? If you pushed them a little bit more and said, is anything else about him, they'd say, well, football. And if you pushed them even harder, they'd say, oh, he's the bloke who brought computer to the masses. Yeah. So it's not new. It's not new to me, and so it doesn't come as a bit of a shock, but it is. It's very pleasant to be recognised by the youngsters, in particular, for the awareness that the show has made of business and got them inspired. And that's what I enjoy about it.
Is it fun?
I would only do it if it's fun, and I would only do it if it's bringing results and inspiring young people. The day that don't happen is the day you don't see me anymore.
What about the comparisons to you and Donald Trump? Because, of course, he's your compadre the other side of the Atlantic who does The Apprentice. Are you similar as people, or can you be totally different but equally as successful?
Well, I don't know Donald Trump at all. I've spoke to him once for a very short period of time over a telephone, so it'd be completely unwise of me to form any opinions from that. And I've learnt in life, you do not you do not form opinions by listening to others.
Right.
So you form your own opinions. Look, Donald Trump was the first one to do this in America. It was the format was invented in America. The American market, as we know, culturally is completely different to United Kingdom, and he does and did a good job on The Apprentice there. They sent his program over here to England. They put it on BBC Two. It didn't go down too well, I think it's fair to say. My one, because I am adapted to the English culture and the English way of life, has been a success. So you see, both people very successful, doing the same thing but in a different marketplace. So
Well, I find his hair so distracting. That's the problem with the American version, isn't it? You're in a league of finance that basically you don't have to worry about the first class ticket. You can buy the plane. You don't worry about staying in a 5-star hotel. You can buy the hotel. If we were to go out and have fun, what would make you happy? What would be a good day out for me and you?
Well, I'll go on my bike somewhere, and get out in the countryside on a nice ride on a day which is not too hot and not raining. Find new routes there. I'll take my plane up, a little plane up for a fly, and go and visit somewhere in France or something like that. I mean, that's the type of thing that I do. Or I'd watch, and I'd come home and watch some, TV program that I'm interested in, or go to a football game. I mean, I'm a very simple fellow,
And if we were to have a dinner together, what's your favourite bite to eat?
Oh, well, I've always loved Italian food. I suppose it is the best. It is really, as far as I'm concerned, the Italian food is the best. I don't go for all this nouveau cuisine stuff and all that Gordon Ramsay stuff with all these twigs sticking up on the plate and pretty pictures.
Yeah,
and,
a plate of leaves as you did it.
Or whatever it is, and some lump of fish which has still got this glistening skin on it. Oh, it puts me off, quite frankly.
Do you still get upset when you go into a restaurant and you charge 20 quid for a meal that's only worth £5, regardless of how rich you are? Does that still bother you?
Well, I think it doesn't matter how rich you are. No one likes being ripped off, okay? And so you won't find me going to places where I'm going to lead with my chin and get ripped off. I just won't go there. Not because I'm stingy. It's just that I just will not have it. I mean, I don't. No one should be should be ripped off. And I don't like some of these so-called high-class restaurants that make it hard to get in and play this game. Oh, sorry, you can't book. We're booked for 3 months. I mean, that's such a lot of nonsense that is these days. That old game is really it's wore itself out. But you get ordinary people that come from, say, the provinces or come down to London who have heard about certain restaurants and they look forward to it for the whole of the year, and they've actually got a reservation for it, and they're going to go in there and they're prepared to spend £200 or £300, and quite frankly, they're wasting their money because it is not that great, if you know what I mean.
Very finally, before we go politically, we've got a new coalition. We've not had that before. Is this a good place to be?
Well, I would say watch this space, because I can't see this coalition lasting too long. I think if Gordon Brown and David Cameron, if you got them in a room on their own, or if their wives were laying next to them in bed at night and asked them, would you have done live TV interviews again? Both of them would have said no, because I think the live TV interview is what caused the mess that we're in at the moment. We have a coalition government where the Liberal Party were given airtime in the middle of a live television broadcast. They started making promises that they had no intention of fulfilling, because they thought they weren't going to get in, and they confused everybody so that we didn't have a majority one way or the other, Labour or Conservative. And now Clegg and people like Cable, I don't know what's hit them. They're like Leyton Orient playing in the Champions League. I mean, they found themselves sitting there and they're, oh, blimey, we did say that. Oh, yeah, we did say this, but we didn't mean it, actually. It's just a spoiling tactic, actually. We didn't really mean it. So I'll tell you, they've got to sort themselves out. Look, the recession, I think, people get themselves out of recession. They've got to realise that there's no free lunch culture out there, and once they've overcome that and get their heads down, get back working again, and you won't know when you're out of recession. You only know you're in a recession when you don't know you're in a boom. You never know you're in a boom. You only know when you was in a boom when you look back and say, oh, blimey, that was good. Look where we are today. So I think you have to work your way out of it.
Lord Sugar, has this been okay, me asking you questions? I mean, you're a very private man. Obviously, you've written the book, so you're prepared to talk about it. Would you rather not talk?
Sorry?
Would you rather not have to do this? I mean, in your dream world, is it okay talking about you? Because you are a private man, aren't you?
Well, relatively private, but I talk all day long. I go around the country and talk to people in schools. I talk to business people. I host Q&As every single week of the year. That's what I do to try and inspire people. So I've got a problem with people asking me questions.
Have I done all right? I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want you slagging me off to compliance or anything.
You've done all right. I'll make sure that you're not reported to the BBC compliance unit.
Apprentice starts tonight. Then is it going to be a good one?
Very good. Like all products, the longer you make them, the more experience you have in making them, the better they get. And I think you're going to see this as the best series so far.
It's been a great honour for me and a thrill as well. Lord Sugar's new book is out. It's called What You See Is What You Get. It's released £20. And thank you so much for coming on the programme. Really appreciate it.
Okay.